Let's try it out.
We are going to start by making the curry filling that goes inside the meatball. So you want to add some bone beef broth to a pot with some freshly just like diced up ginger and some freshly peeled garlic cloves, and those two things just need to be smashed a little bit, and you want to bring this to a boil. And while it's boiling, you want to dissolve the gelatin in just a little bit of water there. And when the broth has come to a full boil and the flavors have had a chance to incorporate, you want to strain out the garlic and the ginger and take care to get all of those little pieces. We don't want anything left behind or floating. And then you're going to add in your curry spice. So just a giant pile of curry seasoning. Mix that all together really well, and then you're going to go ahead and add back in that dissolved gelatin. And that's going to help the puck kind of freeze up and form into that, like puck that we want. Set that aside and fill up your molds with the liquid. If you have sphere molds, that's what you want to use. I did not have sphere molds that were big enough for this, but when they're all filled up, set that aside in the freezer for at least like 2 to 3 hours to set. Then we're going to work on the meatball pork. To a bowl filled with pork, you're going to add soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, and you're also going to add some sugar. And you're going to add the spices now. Chinese 5-spice and ground anise, which is that special thing that Soma added to his meatball mixture. And then the black pepper, freshly cracked black pepper. And I'm adding less than I did the first time just because I want the curry to flavor inside to be able to shine through really well. I don't want the black pepper to take over too much. So you want to set this aside and split this up into 6 pieces, which should be enough to cover your curry puck, and just set that aside while we wait for everything to freeze. You can go ahead and start working on the other parts of this recipe while you wait for the curry puck to freeze. I just put this in order so that you can see how to do everything. Once that puck is frozen, you're just going to want to flatten out some of that meatball meat and tuck the little curry puck inside and close that up really, really well, making sure that there's no cracks or anything anywhere on the meatball. Then you can either boil that right away or just set that in the freezer until you're ready to boil them. When you are ready to cook the meatballs, you just bring a pot of water or some of that chicken stock to a boil and slide your meatball right in and cook for about 6 to 8 minutes until nice and cooked the whole way through. Now, if you did not do a good job of wrapping your meatball, it will kind of crack, so you want to make sure that you do a good job of wrapping up the meatball. Then we're going to get started on the mapo tofu. So you want to add to some chicken stock all of your seasonings. We've got this spicy red chili paste there. That's the black bean paste. And then you're going to add in your soy sauce as well. And here you're going to add some crushed red pepper flakes to taste. So these don't I put in about a half a teaspoon here, but you can definitely do more if you like spicier. Then you want to go ahead and give that all a good stir around, mix it together so that it's evenly incorporated. That way when you add this to the pan, you don't have to do too much stirring. And then we're going to go ahead and get ready to cook the kind of filling that goes into the mapo tofu. You're going to want to brown your ground pork and make sure to break it down into really small pieces. Once you're happy with how that's been cooked, you want to clear a space in the middle and you want to put in your garlic and your ginger and let those heat over low heat, not high. You don't want to burn them. You just want to make them a little bit aromatic. So let them cook just a couple of seconds on that heat and then mix it through the ground pork. And once it's all evenly incorporated, what you're going to do is take that chicken stock mixture from before and you're going to add it to the pot. And once you've got everything added in, you want to make sure you give it a good stir around so everything is evenly incorporated. And then you're going to slap a lid on that and bring it to a simmer and let it simmer for about 5 minutes or so just to get those flavors all incorporated with the pork. Once you're happy with how that's simmered, then you can add in some tofu. You can blanch yours beforehand if you would like. I didn't here just because I don't notice the difference in flavor. Blanching your tofu, just boiling it very quickly in water beforehand, is supposed to help get rid of like a bitter flavor in your tofu, but I've never had that problem, so I don't blanch it. Once it's all evenly stirred through, you can slap your lid over that again and cook for another 10 minutes or so until all the flavors are nice and incorporated. And then you want to throw in your cornstarch slurry, and this is just cornstarch mixed with a little bit of water, and it's going to help thicken up that sauce so that it clings to the noodles really nicely when we put the noodles in. Once you're done with that, set it aside. Oh, no, we're not setting it aside. We're adding in the Szechuan pepper. This is fresh cracked Szechuan pepper, and it really adds a wonderful element to this dish. I wouldn't skip out on that. So once you've done that, set that aside. You can plate that up into a bowl, and you want to add in some freshly boiled noodles. I use ramen noodles here just because they were the most convenient noodle that I had, but you can add in any noodles that you would like. You want to mix that through and then add a nice handful of freshly chopped green onion to the top, and you want to garnish with some more of that Szechuan pepper just to add that extra little kick. And then you want to put your meatball on top. And take care to, mine spilled a little bit out the bottom. Garnish with just a little bit more green onion, and this is all good to go. And as soon as you're ready, you just plunge your chopsticks straight down the middle of that meatball, and it doesn't have quite the same effect as it did in the anime, but I think it still looks pretty cool, and better yet, it tastes really good. So let's get the full flavor profile and see how this tastes.